I'd like to call the meeting of the Parks and Recreation Committee to order for August 24th, 2015. Everybody stand, face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Linda, roll call.
Mr. Paschal?
Here.
Mr. Sims? Mr. Tenorowitz?
Here.
Mrs. Webster?
Here.
Mrs. White? Mrs. Flesher?
Here.
Mrs. Nelson?
Here.
All right, that brings us up to agent modifications. We have any agent modifications or additions? I see none. Approval of minutes from our last meeting of June.
Motion to approve? I had no
Do we have a
corrections.
second?
I wasn't here, so I don't think,
Okay.
I wasn't here either. I can second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Or we needed to vote, Linda? Do we need to vote or just
You can do unanimous.
all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that brings us to our new business, which is the proposed capital improvements for 2015, 2016. Chris?
Yeah, the sheets I gave you, Ken Kilgore, our Chief Financial Officer and Director of Administrative Services, put together for you. It just kind of gives you a breakdown of what's different things that are being proposed in this year's budget. And then the second page kind of breaks it down into more detailed, actually. So if you have any questions or concerns, or you can...
I do, yes. I'm 50-50 on this community center paving as far as the money coming out of the impact fee money. Also, the bike path from, I guess it's going to be from Collier Club to the new road coming into the airport. I'm against that also. I don't see why we have to foot out the bill for that bike path. Also, Chris, on this landscaping for US 1, it's saying 50-50 match, which would be $50,000 from the impact fees.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're using impact fees for that or not. They might be using local. No, they're using, if you look on page 2 at the bottom, to be funded by DST, discretionary sales tax.
Okay, so it's going to be 100% from that, because they have broke down 50 and 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The city puts in 50 and
Okay, all
FDOT
right.
puts in
Okay,
the other
all right.
50,000. Yep.
The only ones I have questions about is the bike path and the paving of the community center. Anybody else would like to make any comments on them too? Or any comments about anything on here?
So we're paving the parking lot at the community center?
Yes. Which would be $50,000 from impact fees.
Aye.
Tammy, any comments?
Is it really needed? I mean, is it relevant that, I mean, we haven't had it for this amount of time. I mean, there's other funds that I think could be spent
I think the
better.
last time it was done probably 3-4 years ago with stone.
Yeah,
did it with
the
stone.
biggest problem is people tracking stuff into, it's an old terrazzo tile floor in there. And down the road, we've actually been looking at replacing that floor, and you just kill a new floor in there if you don't pave it. So,
Okay.
and kids pull in there, do donuts, spin out, shoot stuff up on the porch, At least with a paved lot, they'll just leave rubber tracks.
I'm definitely for the paving of the parking lot of the community center, but what is, you are against it coming out of the rec budget?
The rec budget, yes.
So, Chris, is there anything or any ideas that, does it have to come out of the rec budget? Is that how it works?
That's the way it's been presented. This budget has been presented to council. I can certainly bring your concerns up to the city manager. I don't get invited to a lot of those meetings. So, you know.
So that
But
was, that
they
was the decision?
decide which projects come, get funded by what source, actually.
Okay,
So,
so.
but I could certainly
don't think
bring
it
it up, and there's also, you're gonna have 2 public hearings on the budget too. I believe they're in September, I'm not exactly sure, but they'll be well publicized. And if maybe you wanna send John there to speak, or, that would be another avenue. Or if you wanna set up a meeting with the city manager yourself too, you
Yeah.
can do that, so.
So then my other question is, other than what's listed as far as what's proposed in moving forward for the fiscal year, if there were a different project that we wanted to put forward, is there any kind of contingency to say, like, for example, if we wanted to put picnic tables in and around the skate park, or if we wanted to move forward about trying to do something about shade, is it that the answer would come back, we didn't allocate or put any money aside for that? It's broken down specifically to what we see in front of us.
Like for shade structure, that's a big ticket item. So yeah, that would be that. The city manager was pretty clear on that at his first budget presentation, that you all had requested that, and he didn't put it in this year's budget.
I understand that. And
Yeah.
at the last meeting, we said maybe we could talk about a different way to do it instead of the one way that was proposed. But in a more general sense, not trying to drill it down on that, just but in a general aspect of, if there were some other idea that the community came forward with of wanting to do or implement, we really wouldn't be able to do anything based on these are the 8 items that are budgeted for the fiscal year.
What they probably could do is get it in the 5-year plan, which that 5-year plan changes almost every year. And then, get it in there. So I did get another price for the shade structures. I got it down quite a bit. The original price was like covering the whole, both bleachers areas. And then I got another price just to cover the bleachers themselves, not from fence to fence, so.
Well, the parking area at the community center, Chris, is that considered a public parking lot?
It actually is for overflow, like when they have certain events, that it can be used for overflow.
That would be one of
parking
my
if it's
things
not
why I don't
rented
think
out.
the impact fee should be used for that if it's a public parking lot. Yeah, so, yeah, that was my thing, so. But I'm gonna have to go with what, City Hall says, so, yeah.
Well, like I said, you can,
I can come to the meeting.
there's
or
going
I
to
can
be
have a
2
meeting with
public
Mr. Griffin.
hearings on this
Yeah,
budget.
right, yep.
So do we need to make a motion
I
to?
brought your concerns to the city manager about the shade structures.
Yeah, I know,
So-
and I was there.
I know, yeah, so,
Yep.
like I say, I don't get invited to a lot of these meetings anymore, so, I do.
Do we need to make a motion to ask John to attend the next city council meeting to talk about some of our concerns, or?
I wouldn't go to the city council meeting. I would go to the public hearing on the budget, which is, he's already been to a city council
Yeah,
meeting and expressed his concerns
Right.
about that, but.
Okay, so
I can set up a meeting with Mr. Griffin, and I can go
Yeah,
to the
you
budget
could.
committee meeting, because I know they got another meeting for the city council Wednesday night,
Yeah,
Okay.
so. And that was my big thing, I think, on the last meeting in July, of where I could actually talk in a meeting, because there are so many different ways that I could actually get into the meeting and talk about things, and finally got the mayor to tell me where to go in the
Okay.
meeting at, so, yeah. So I'll get with the budget, I'll go to that, and I'll get with Mr. Griffin on this, yeah. Yeah, so we'll go with that.
So the bike path, what's the story?
I
of
understand
that?
it's from Collier Club entrance, right past the golf course building, right to the new road,
yeah.
so. And I don't think we should be using our money
It'll
for
have
that.
it'll have to cross the road,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Somewhere, yeah.
right behind number 10T, actually.
Do
So.
they usually take bike path sidewalk money out of the recreation?
The sidewalk money in the city has come out of general fund.
Comes out of different, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes comes out of gas tax, sometimes, yeah.
Is this a special bike path?
I don't
That it would be coming out of
Oh,
these?
I don't know, yeah. I
I'll
don't
try
know.
to get the answer to that question for you. Like I said, I don't get invited to a lot of meetings.
I will ask that when I see Mr. Griffin, too.
Yeah, you can ask him
I
that.
can ask him,
He-
yes.
He and the finance director, they sit down and decide which projects are funded through which.
But I think that was my main concerns for the impact fees. I got a couple questions on my staff matters, but I ask you that when I get there.
Okay.
Any other questions here or comments? No? Okay, that brings us to public input. Anybody from the public? Sonny? Give us your name.
Good evening, Jim Sunnycab. I have a few things. Ducks at the Easy Street. How are we doing on getting rid of the ducks at Easy Street?
I called that lady that got them before, and I haven't heard back from her. So, because
We still have.
yeah, I said come get them.
Pardon?
We really don't want to get involved with it. I said come get them, and I'll give her a call again. But yeah, I don't know if she's been to take any or not. It seems like they're showing up more than ever now. So,
And they're multiplying more than.
yeah. Now before she only took the black Muscovy ducks, but I also got complaints. So I guarantee you, one of those black Muscovy ducks is one of the neighbors' favorites duck out there too. That's my
They
problem.
got that one first.
Yeah.
I heard so.
Yeah.
But the Muscovy ducks need to go. You know, you know about the Muscovy ducks, how they can in the springtime they can attack people and things. And I've been attacked with them in the past. So, and they're the ones that mess up the benches. Also, at Easy Street, you know the irrigation cover. It's got a lot of mold on it and stuff. Can we get that cleaned a little bit?
We're very short-handed now, but I'll get that on the list.
Okay.
I had a gentleman retire. They promoted someone to his position, but then they didn't fill the position.
Okay.
The guy that got promoted.
Well, just, you know, as long as
We're
it's-
struggling just to get the grass mowed right now.
Okay.
Trust me. Crews are doing a very good job. It's very hot out. It's not a good time of the year.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
maybe
we'll get it scheduled.
maybe I'll bring it back up when it's cooler.
Yeah.
Also, the dog park, the fire hydrants. Any luck with those?
I didn't call anybody, and I know you can buy them through park
Yeah.
playground people. I know I don't have the money till my park
Well,
budget's
can
shot
we-
right now. So
Yeah, as long as we get fire hydrants, we can put them in then, right?
yeah, I don't see that being a problem. So
Okay.
I'll call. Maybe the county has an extra one. I don't know if they're allowed to give them away or what. I know certain surplus items you can't. Just
They're
give to
out
people.
there, so I mean it's.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do too.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find a couple. Also, the marquee at the Riverview restroom that I brought up last time.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna fly.
Not gonna fly.
Yeah, no, we have a nice one out by US One, so But I can bring it up again come October 1st when we have a little money in the budget. So
Okay. Well, I just think it would
nothing's
be,
happening until October 1st. I can tell you that right now.
well, the marquee out by the road doesn't have detailed what the chamber has, the music, and what's going on in the park.
I put everything, every event in the park is on that marquee.
Well, I'm talking
I
about.
do it myself.
I know, but if we had a mark, we could do it for the whole summer.
Well, there's nothing going on in the summer.
Well, we could do it for the whole year.
What do you mean the whole year?
Well, every event that's like the chamber has events and all the events going on.
They have concerts in the park. I always put that on the marquee.
But that's just for the 1 week.
Yeah. So
I'm talking about a marquee where you could go.
people have short-term memories. They're not going to remember if you put a monthly, yearly calendar up. I think that's plenty good enough. It's big letters. People see it driving by. But I'll ask the city manager if he wants to. I've already asked him once, but I'll ask him again. So.
Yeah. Okay. Riverview, the mural down there that's been taken away or painted over or.
I don't
The one with the
what are you
pelican?
talking about? Oh, yeah. Joe just instructed us to paint over that for now.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, someone in the youth group might do something with it too. The youth council they have.
Yeah?
Yep.
So we're just gonna leave it painted, like just not gonna do anything with it?
No, they're gonna paint over it, and then I
mean, we're not
think
gonna do
the
anything
youth
with the area?
council might have something where they'll paint, they might be painting something on it, so.
Well, I'd like to suggest to the committee an arch or some type with Sebastian on it, where we could have a photo shop or photo place for pictures. Like there's people does weddings down there. There's the prom pictures, and some type of arch that would be kind of wind resistant and really not block the view. But I feel we need a photo op place to sell Sebastian, a place where a group of people could get, and then when the picture's taken, sell Sebastian. That would be a perfect spot. Because the mural was nice, but it was on the ground, and taking pictures was almost impossible. But I think if we could do something with that spot, some type of arch or something to sell Sebastian would be good. Because people takes their own arch down there.
Yeah.
With flowers and stuff.
That's what they're going to do with the wedding. They're not going to stand out of an arch for their wedding pictures with Sebastian. That they would get an arch and move it over here away from that, because who wants their wedding pictures? You want flowers or balloons or whatever, but not going to stand under an arch that says Sebastian for wedding.
Well, but for graduation and prom.
For other things, just people
They
visiting.
do, and it is a huge
Yeah.
photo opportunity. Both my kids, because you got the backdrop of the Indian River,
Everybody goes
it's
there.
gorgeous. And it's just every single tradition, everybody comes out there. You'll see tons of kids every single year for homecoming, graduation, and it is
But nobody's going to do
tradition.
that for a wedding.
So if we had some type of,
Well, it's just to sell Sebastian. Someone visits here, and they take a picture of the water, and then if you're selling Sebastian, to me that's the whole key of what we want to do is sell Sebastian.
I know we've been talking about this arch for quite some time now, and I thought it was a great idea when you first brought it up, and I agree with the proms and the homecoming and even tourists. It's
Tourists.
a beautiful view from where that mural was, looking out into the river. It's a gorgeous view.
It'd be the
and
perfect
if
spot,
it
and
was,
since- yeah.
it was maybe like a black wrought iron or something with a little bit of decoration, and you can put flowers and balloons on it if you're having a birthday or something
Yeah.
like that. I think it would be a great addition down there, because that mural was beautiful, but you're absolutely right. It really could not see it on the ground, and I also think that it would be nice to have an arch there with Sebastian. So
And the background would be just
I
awesome
agree.
with the
I
water.
agree with that.
Let's see, we were in the 4th of July parade, sponsoring the dog park. And you can go to the website we do, sebastianbarkpark.com, and you can see the parade from our website. It's also on YouTube. The city's put it on YouTube, so you can see the parade. But something we did different, we had a GoPro. We were in the parade, so we had a GoPro. You can go to our site and link it, so you can find yourself on the sidelines watching the parade. It's kind of like finding Waldo. Where are we? So you can link to Sebastian Bark Park and find that also, where you can see yourself in the parade route. Just wanted to put that out, but it's great that the city is doing this with YouTube. Also, like to mention, like meetings, they're on YouTube now, where you don't have to watch it on Channel 25, and you can just go to YouTube and see all the meetings, and that's a great thing they've done. That's about it for tonight.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you, Sonny. All right, staff matters. Yeah, I got a couple things. When I first started here, it seemed like we had the city manager here all the time to answer questions, or if we need anything at all. When I talk to Mr. Griffin, I'm gonna see if he can start coming down here, or either Mr. Kilgore from Finance Department. I know it puts a lot on you, Chris, just to answer some of these questions for us. So maybe I can get one of them two to come to the meetings, yeah. Also, I went to the council meeting in July and told them the updates that we had. I brought up the bleacher shields and they just threw it back right at me. And one of them told me they didn't even know what I was talking about. Yeah, they had no idea what a bleacher shield was, so, yeah. But it's on the back burner, it is. So I'll know if I can bring that up to the budget committee when I go, or talk to Mr. Griffin, I'll do that. And I will bring up to Mr. Griffin about the arch too, yeah, when I go see him. The disc golf, they're putting that on the back burner. That was at the meeting, at the same meeting I went to when I brought it up. And they said they had not enough people coming to the meetings or emailing anybody here to pursue it any further. So that's going to be somewhere down the road, I guess. So that's where we're at with that.
Excuse me,
Go ahead.
I just believe that there were enough people. There were a couple meetings that people showed up and expressed interest. I got quite a few emails about disc golf, and I was surprised to read it in the paper that it was put on the back burner because of one of the council members had said that not enough people had showed up and asked for it, and I thought that there was plenty of expressed interest from the
Right.
from the people, from people who have experience with it, and I was very disappointed to read in the Press Journal that it was put on the back burner.
Okay. I got two parks, Filbert and George Street. Looks like they need pressure cleaned. The overhangs, they look like mold or dirt on. I don't know what they are. Yeah, so I don't know if we can ever get to them. I brought it up once before about that. Also, Easy Street Lake. I went by there one morning I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Seemed like some of the lights were out on the sidewalk. Are we having a problem with the moisture in them, or?
I'll check them. Like I said, we're swamped.
I know
right
you
now.
are.
But I'll do that
Seemed like
myself.
some
I'll
of
check
the
them.
west side was out and some of the east
I'll
side
take
was-
my bicycle through there at 6:15 tomorrow morning and
Okay.
get a count.
All right.
So
That's another thing I was going to ask you too about. I think we brought up 2 years ago about the lights on 512 westbound. I'm going to take a ride down and through there tomorrow morning in my volunteer car, starting at Roseland Road, and see if they did any of them lights at all. I know the county was supposed to do them.
no, FP&L actually does those
Oh, is that
lights.
who it was?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
I'll get with
And
you
I
on that.
got emails to FP&L and they started trimming. Most of them just need trimming around.
Yeah. Well, some of the
And
bulbs
it's
are out.
just
Yeah.
impossible to get to some of them because you can't go drive those trucks in someone's backyard and, But I can call FP&L again if you do.
Yeah, I'll take a ride down there tomorrow morning when it's dark and see what's out and what's not out. Okay, I thought the skate park, since they put the new one in, would have a lot more people going to it, but it seemed like you're just a few is using it. I don't know why, but it's
It's so
beautiful.
hot.
It really is, yeah.
It's
I know
just
it's
been
hot.
Too hot.
really hot. It really has. I mean, that concrete heats. It's just,
Go at night.
Yeah.
There's a lot more there at night.
Okay, school's back in session, so we got to watch ourselves with the school lights, the speed. Also, the hurricane season's here, so we got to be prepared for that. Now, I got another question. I wish Mr. Minner was here or Mr. Kilgore was here. The new housing plan on Main Street and Power Line. Is that a government subsidized project, or is that going to be impact fee money coming out of there? Do you know?
The new what?
The new housing project on Main and Power Line. I heard it's going to be government subsidized, which would probably take the impact fee money away from us.
No.
That's what I heard, because it's going to be low income, right?
That's not true. That's
Isn't it
been-
assisted living?
No.
No.
It's single family homes.
Oh, okay.
It's one
Okay.
little development. Yep.
But I was told that from somebody that it was
Well,
government
you know how
subsidized.
rumors fly in this, Jim.
yeah.
Be careful who you listen to.
All right, yeah. All right. Okay, Christmas in July. We had a great turnout down at the park. There was quite a few people there. It was very well attended, so that's all I have right now. And like I said, I will get with Mr. Griffin, and I will go to the budget committee and see what we can get worked out here. Greg?
okay. One item was that from the last meet prior to the one that was canceled was on the disc golf was I had committed to the committee that I would do some research on the disc golf and what it entailed in different aspects. So now that it's been tabled, so I have the information. I'll just pass it to you as far as just reading it to have for our own edification. And if at some point it comes back around, my one comment on that is it goes back to the same topic that we've brought up several times before, is park space and what we're doing and where we're moving forward. And I know you were bringing it up to council and Griffin. I'm not sure what's been kind of said in those discussions. Or my one question to whoever makes the decision is that in a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, what are the thoughts, what are the plans? Because otherwise, I just kind of feel like there's a cap to what this committee can do based on what there is. So based on the golf course, there is interest, I think, but there's no sense on pushing it because based on the information that I saw, there's no way you could incorporate that into what we already have. That wouldn't be doing justice to the parks that we have. And then moving forward, if there are other viable things brought by the community, pickleball, tennis, anything else, it's going to be the same aspect of cramming something into a space that's already overcrowded.
Because I brought that
know
up
what the
to
answer to
council
that
in
is.
my July meeting, that we have to look like 10 years down the road of where we want to be, because we got nowhere to put any more sports complexes. We got nothing. We got no room whatsoever
Right.
to build anything else.
Right.
And that is to be either annex something in or buy some property someplace. Yeah.
And that takes planning based on the budget and the budget. And I understand we're under budget constraints, but if you don't earmark something and have that as a goal, without a goal, it's not going to be achieved. It will just be something that is discussed but doesn't actually get implemented.
So we have property at Day Drive, is that right?
Yes,
But we can't use it?
I understand it's the wetlands. True? Miller Drive?
Yeah, there is some wetlands in that property, yeah, but
So I don't know how much.
So you
can-
can't use any of it, or you can use that property?
you probably could use some of it, yes, I would think.
But the
I don't-
people in the
yeah.
area don't want anything there, is that correct?
But people that live around there might not like what you're going to put. I was going to address this. John skipped over staff matters.
Oh,
We
I'm
were
sorry.
supposed to go first. That's okay. But I was going to address that and the disc golf. We did have plenty of interest. We didn't have just too many citizens complained about it everywhere we tried to put it.
Yeah.
I don't know if all you were around here when the dog park came about. It took forever, and council just, said put it on the back burner for now. And to address Greg, I agree with him 100%. I mean, most cities have like a 5 or 10 year parks master plan. You got to spend money to do it, but you always have to, I'll have to check. I don't know if you could, I would think you could use recreation impact fee money for that. So, because we do have some nice park properties out
Yes, we
there.
do, yeah.
We have a gorgeous piece of property on the south prong of the Sebastian River off of Stonecrop Street that is just, it's a shame we don't do anything with it. It's gorgeous.
How big is that out there?
Well, it even goes down to Sunport. I don't know the exact acres, but I could find out for you. But
I'm sorry I skipped over you.
no, that's all right.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it up.
So
but,
that's
yeah.
one, and as maybe a goal of this of Parks and Rec, I'd like us to try to help guide the community and try to figure out a way that we come up with something. Otherwise, we just keep going. Okay, back to a smaller issue. Chris, what would be the possibility of getting one of these covered picnic tables that we have around the city being put just to the outside of the skate park in the interim of having? There's no
Yeah.
seating, so right now it's hot. But moving into, there's nowhere for parents to watch their kids comfortably, and that would at least be, if we could get 2 in there, that serves a purpose. At least having shade where you're sitting, and then you could eat or do something. So just the same little structures that we have all around the city.
I'll bring it up to the city manager. So, yeah.
Roughly, how much does that? Do those? I mean, you guys make
Well,
those
the
in-house?
gentleman
or?
that used to build them no longer works for the city, but I can give you a ballpark. I think they were about $500 a piece.
Yeah,
But actually, there's a company, Pride Enterprises, and it's actually prisoners from the state prison that make something very similar. I could check into prices for that too, and I'll bring it up to Mr. Griffin.
Two of those would, I think, be a
Yeah.
nice addition there.
Can I just maybe mention while you were talking about those, that the baseball field could use a couple of those also, because those, I think 3 years ago when we talked about the covers for the shade cloth over the bleachers, he had said, Minner had said that we could have a few of those, because they do provide shade and a place to sit. Sorry to interrupt you.
I'll add that to the list.
Tammy? Rosemary?
I just have a couple issues I want to talk about. I got an email from a young man who was asking if scooters would be allowed to use the skate park at all.
Right now, we do not allow scooters.
Okay.
If we had enough interest, we might be able to, I wouldn't want scooters and skateboards in there at the same time. I think
Right.
that's an accident waiting to happen, but maybe you could have a, certain time frame where scooters could go in and, just scooters, but.
So how could we go about that?
I think that we'd have to probably change the whole resolution, because on the waiver now, it says skateboards and inline skates only, this
Okay.
waivers that everybody signs. So we'd have to change that and maybe even change the resolution of it too, the whole, how it operates, but.
Well, do you think that we could find a way where people who want to use scooters would be able to put their name down or sign up, so this way we know what kind of interest we have, and if we have,
Yeah.
a reasonable amount of interest, then we can go forward and try
Yeah.
to change the resolution. But maybe if we can look into something,
Yeah.
something like that. I know before we put a sign up asking for suggestions on what they want at the park. I'm sure it's not the people with the skateboards that want the scooter, so I don't know how efficient it would be to put a sign up at the park. However, excuse me, if we put out there, let us know if you have a scooter and you're interested in using the park. Maybe we could set aside a couple hours
Yep.
during the week or something like that. The second thing I have,
Add something real quick on that, just for reference, because I have kids that do this. And so Lakeland has a skate park. It's fairly big. It's new. It's concrete. They have multi-use at the same time. So I have seen it where it is both skateboards and scooters at the same time. So it
It's
depends
quite a
on-
bit larger than ours though, right?
No. But my point
Yeah.
being is that you can see it in operation as far as
Yeah.
you look at the volume, you look at the openness, you see the park. So if I agree, see how many people it is, but then put that up against how many people we have using the skate park at any given time. I mean, even at our busiest, what are we in there, like 10 or 15 kids at a time? So it may or may not be something that's a problem, just as a point of just something else to look at as far as how we want to make that determination, whether it's safe or not safe. I mean, there are other parks that do it at the same time.
also I saw in the minutes, I apologize, I missed last meeting, that there was a grand opening. I was wondering, I don't know if it was attended or how much it was published, but maybe as it cools off towards September, if we could think about having a re-grand opening and maybe inviting some people from the city and try to get it out there and have maybe some refreshments and things like that. This, just to show off a little bit of what is out there, because that really is a nice skate park. One more thing I have, I've gotten quite a few phone calls and inquiries, and I'm sorry, Joanne, if I'm stepping on your toes, about the bathrooms at the football field and the concession stand. I was under the impression that they were repaired, but apparently they're in pretty much disrepair as far as the handles and the rust and everything. And I see in our plan for next year, it looks like they're going to be a total redo of $60,000. But in the meantime, if I know you're short-staffed, but if you can get someone out there to look at them, we get quite a few visitors from other counties that come in and use that field, and it's not a good impression of beautiful Sebastian to see the bathrooms in
I'll let
disrepair.
the
So if you
building
can
maintenance
check on that,
foreman
I
know.
appreciate it. And we're looking forward to the $60,000 repair next year's budget. Other than that, I do the garden park and George Street Park, and they look good. Everything looks good, and the city is is beautiful. So I thank everybody for keeping it clean. And that's all I have.
On the scooters, you talking about the motorized scooters going
No,
in?
no. They're just the scooters.
The Razor scooters.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah, okay, all right, okay. Joanne?
You next? The football field isn't mine, so I'm good. I saw in the minutes that they're not going to do the overhangs at the baseball field. I would ask that maybe there'd be some way to maybe repair or tighten up the netting that are over the bleachers.
That netting was put up by Little League,
I
and
know
they're
who put it up.
responsible for
I'm
it.
saying,
Yeah, I mean, we put it back up when it fell down, you know, but they put that up. That was their deal. So we didn't install it. We didn't pay for it. Little League paid for it.
Right,
They
I
put it up.
understand.
So yeah,
okay.
so that's something you'd have to bring up with whoever the Little League president at this time is. So.
Okay. Well, then if we're going to do absolutely nothing at the baseball fields, could we at least pressure wash the score booths so I can paint them? Paint the doors?
I'll bring that up along with the other restrooms. So.
Okay. And fall ball is starting up, so if you can get your kids out there and get them signed up, it's $25. Registration's online and on Saturday mornings from 9 to 12. That's it.
Tammy?
I'm just glad to see that we've got the money set aside for Hardy Park for the exercise stations, because even in the heat, first thing in the morning and late in the evening, we still have a very good turnout of people exercising there. So I just want to make sure that doesn't get back burner and it does get put through this year. Otherwise, the park's looking really good.
Okay. Back to you, Chris.
We did put a new fountain in the garden club pond. Looks really nice. They did it Friday, I believe. And we put a new one in Blossom Park Pond too. Go by there and take a look at them. They look really nice. So, other than that, kind of slow time of year. Like I said, we don't have much going on at the park. Clam bake will be the next big ticket item. Craft shows will start October, and art shows in November. So, good. Other than that, my crews have been working very hard. It's very hot out. Like I said, we're shorthanded, but we're doing the best we can. So, waiting for October 1st for a new budget too, because our budgets are pretty good.
Well, the thing is, are they going to give you any more help, or?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't. I've asked, but
I know I see them all the time mowing. They're sweating.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
They're sweating like crazy out there. It is hot. It really is. And I agree with everybody up here tonight as far as the disc golf, everything that was said at the council meeting. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea, but I would like to see either Mr. Griffin here or Mr. Kilgore here, yeah, to help us with this stuff. And it takes a lot off Chris too, because he's got to answer our questions. Yeah. So, okay, items for the next agenda and date. Now let's see if we can get something put together for an agenda for our next meeting in September. We can all put our heads together and come up with something, yes. Any suggestions? Just jump in when you get an idea or something that we can have on an agenda for our next meeting, yeah. Anything, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What about more property? Have we checked into, I mean, because we're already at our constraints, who would be in charge of looking at for some more property to expand on our parks? I mean, it's just an idea to further things out, more property, bigger parts, then maybe we can do the disc golf on a new place.
Would that be upstairs or down at the building department?
To purchase new property,
Yeah.
that would definitely be a Mr. Griffin.
Mr.
item.
Griffin? Okay, all right.
I just feel like, short of something small like a picnic table, we're pretty handcuffed as to what can happen. And that's not to be defeatist or poo-poo it. It's just it makes it hard to expand, to say these are different things that you can do outside of knowing where that's gonna come from. Because rather than new ideas, there's several ideas that I think that we should follow through to, that I'd like to see done. I'd like to see shade for, as a priority. Instead of coming up with a new idea, I'd rather try to find a working solution to finding shade for the skate park and for the baseball fields and go from, as far as like a major item, me personally, that's something that I feel would be an enhancement to those parks, just given the number of people are there and how hot it is for our city.
And maintaining the parks also.
And maintaining.
What
And
we've got.
those Barber complex, if you treat it as one, that's our biggest entity. So what can we do to enhance the utilization of that? So personally, for me, getting other input from the community as far as other new ideas, but I'd like to see some of the things that we've talked about in the past that just kind of seem to be cycling around and not getting anywhere.
And also, I agree with Mr. Paschal. Also, maybe we could meet to find out some of the answers to the questions that we have, since we really couldn't, get too many answers. And I think we need to be diligent and continually meet just to keep up on things that are happening with the Parks and Rec around the town.
And regarding the city manager, people's schedules, if we could get to maybe a quarterly attendance or something that we could count on, so that we know that, okay, at every third meeting, it would be a different meeting, so that now the structure of that would be, in a different manner, as opposed to coming to a meeting and not knowing if somebody's going to be in attendance or not in attendance. So if it could be something that we're set aside and publicized, so that the public knows that as well, so that they're interacting with the city manager on a Parks and Rec agenda in addition to us, I think that would be beneficial, as opposed to something that we're piecemeal about, it's going to be this meeting and not that meeting. That, to me, would be constructive.
Seems like over the years that I've been up here, that we could voice our opinion up here, and we could take it to council and see like we had a voice with the council. But it seems like anymore we can put our ideas together and it's not going anywhere, is the whole thing, yeah. It's like we're just spinning our wheels here. Like Greg said, we can get a picnic table, but that's about it, yeah.
Well, maybe get a picnic table.
Huh?
Maybe get a picnic table.
Maybe. So we'll work on an agenda for next month, yeah. And a date, Miss Linda.
9/28.
9/28.
And if we could find out from Mr. Griffin when it would be good for him to attend a meeting, like Mr. Paschal said, even if it's every other meeting or every third meeting, we would know, to bring our questions that we need to ask of him, and the public can also come and ask questions if they need to ask questions. So whatever is convenient for Mr. Griffin, that would be greatly appreciated.
I'll see if I can get upstairs this week with him and see if I can set up a meeting. I know he's a busy man, but maybe he can give me a half hour anyway, so, yeah. Okay, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, and I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.